Welcome to the 148th episode of the Sawdust Nation podcast with your host, with the most, myself, Nick, from NPG Creations, Nap from Nap's Naughty Works LLC, and Josh from North Country Woodworking, as usual. But tonight we have a special guest, Mr. Eric from Bumblechutes. If you've never heard of Bumblechutes, check him out. Eric, what's your website, real quick, so we can plug it?
Bumblechutes.com. That's Bumble like the bee and shoots like parachute.
All right.
BUMBLECHUTES.
That's right. Check him out. We're going to talk about his wood finish, right? What do you get, that oil and that wax finish going on there?
We have a couple options, yeah.
Awesome. But hey, it's great to have you on the podcast this week.
Thanks for having me.
Oh, he was ready with that answer.
That's right.
But are we doing shop work first or what?
Yeah, we'll just dive right into his story, and we can go to our shops later.
Oh, okay. So, hey, Eric, tell us a little bit about Bumblechutes and how y'all got started, and the ins and outs of what you do from day to day on what you make.
Sure. We all started back in 2015. Was the idea when I was deployed. My wife got an awesome cutting board and came back, and then suddenly she didn't know how to take care of it, so it was just like tucked away. So we did some research, and she ended up finding something that, big box store or Amazon or something like that. And I looked at the ingredients and thought I can do something better. Well, I got out of the military and then started flying for the airlines. COVID happened, so nobody was really working in my field. So I was, like a lot of makers, watching a bunch of YouTube on how to make stuff and get some other tips and tricks. And some dude made his own, wood goo is what he called it or something like that. And I was like, oh yeah, I can do something like that. So the idea triggered again, and one thing led to another. And I went to my wife and said, hey, you mind if I spend like $224 on some wood care stuff for your cutting board? And she's like, it's $200, whatever. So that was it. That was the start of it. All-in-one wood conditioner was the result. And that was coming up next month's going to be our 3-year anniversary already.
Nice.
So that's the down and dirty of how we started, at least.
So how'd you come up with the name Bumblechutes?
I was thinking, like, with that conditioner, it's like I wanted to come up with just an idea for the Etsy page. Just, that's how it all started. And it was a waterproofer type of thing, or water resistant type of, it's a wax and has beeswax and carnauba wax and some other stuff. So I was thinking, what's it, synonyms for whatever words. Umbrella came to mind because of it, repelling water. And like my college, flashback days of like changing my essays, like what's another word for XYZ or whatever. Another word for, what was it? Umbrella ended up being Bumblechute. And I was thinking, one thing led to another. I was thinking, Bumblechute, since we use, beeswax, play on words a little bit. So that was it. And it started off with like bumble like the bee and then shoots like you shoot a gun. And I was thinking, all right, maybe that's not the right message here. So it didn't look as good. So we ended up turning it to like parachutes, and it all fit. So
that's a great name.
That was it.
As far as your ingredients, you were talking about, you looked at the bottle of some store brand and you're like, I could do that. Now, did you start with, Amazon, or did you go right to locally sourced ingredients?
No, that was it. That was really through Amazon. I ended up just more or less getting the ingredients to find the ratios. And then once I figured out like what worked together the best, and then what worked on our own products or, cutting boards, either cutting boards I made or whatever it may have been, like wooden utensils, then I was like, all right. Then I started sourcing local ingredients like the beeswax, any beeswax we get. I talked to the beekeepers throughout the USA, and that's the only place we get our beeswax from. Because when I did all the research, I was finding like the beeswax that is imported, say from China, ends up being, cut with a paraffin wax is a very common additive. It's kind of like the carbon monoxide of waxes, where it's odorless, tasteless, colorless, and it can blend in real well. So, it ends up cutting it because it's a lot cheaper. So they're able to cut costs. And I was thinking, I might as well, if support American, get some good ingredients, finding beekeepers who treat the bees right, get some really good wax out of it. And then any of our products now, we make sure that we say like where the city and state it comes from. One of our main sources actually comes from North and South Dakota. So we just keep it kind of, from farms in North and South Dakota, was the agreement with that beekeeper. So, that was, it started with, going through Amazon to find, hone in. And then we really zeroed when it came to, once we got the real product going.
No, I just want to know, how many lines do you have? Like, how many products do you produce? Or is it just the one
Yeah, no, we've got I've got a list here. We have a wood serum, and then we've got a conditioner, a blade wax. We have a wood cleaning kit, and then those are all of the like kitchen based products. So those are petroleum free. They don't have any mineral oil at all in it. We use a fractionated coconut oil basically as the carrier oil is what it's called. So that's kind of the main oil of them. And then we have, because I've been a woodworker since I was little. Working with my grandpa, and I was always making stuff, even from like making stilts on the farm just because I thought they'd be fun to make as a problem or a project. I don't know. Do you guys remember, what was it called? Junkyard Wars growing up?
Yes, I think I do actually. Yeah.
Right. And they would just find random stuff. And then they ended up
aging myself.
I know,
here.
Nap, you're a little young here, but I'm aging myself. Ended up going and like they would just randomly find some stuff in the junkyard, and they built some like catapults. And I remember like just putting stuff together. I'm rambling, but basically, making a trebuchet and being a maker, at heart, it was awesome. But then I got into, well, I want to get something that, suits more of my background. And then I ended up coming up with our maker line, and we call it the wood shop products. And from there we have basically bulk ingredients at a cheaper price just to help with margins for the maker, because it can get expensive. And obviously a lot of people do this as a creative outlet, but it's also important to, make some cash too. So that's where we end up having our woodworkers oil, our shop wax. We have a wood finish now, a citrus solvent, and then also a stung oil, which is a pure polymerized tongue oil that we sell.
So now I have a question. So you just kind of glazed over this. You built a trebuchet.
Yeah.
No pun intended.
What did you fling with that thing, and what were you trying to hit?
Pumpkins. And because I grew up in Illinois, so I was just surrounded by acres and acres of cornfields, bean fields. So it's just like I could shoot it pretty much any direction and not hit anything. So yeah, just whatever I could find around the farm.
By the way, I met a guy down at the you know where the Stinger is at? Not the Stinger.
Where at?
No, I'm sorry, that's the wrong bar. Wrong state. You're talking about Illinois, correct? Okay, so there's a bar, I forget what it's called, right outside of Scott Air Force Base, and there was some farmer dude in there. This had nothing to do with anything, but there was some farmer dude in there.
Random.
And he was
Nick.
he was tore up from the floor up. Anyway, I got talking with him, and they go out and shoot coyotes after they get all tuned up at the bar. So I'm gonna hook you up with him, Josh. While you're up there, you go out and nail some
Sounds like a
coyotes.
great time.
Well, I mean, it only
Yeah,
you have to
that
wait
sounds
till
like a
night.
bad
He's
time.
got thermals and all that stuff, so you can see.
You
like,
have
at
to
night
with
and all
those,
that.
yeah.
Yeah. I mean, unless you use claymores, but it's all good. All right.
I guess coyotes tend to be an issue. I guess over there too. They're all over the place.
We got coyotes down here in Texas too, but they do different things. Anyway, that was a bad joke.
It took Nap a minute there.
Oh, yeah. Anyway.
Anyhow, well, Eric, gotta say, man, when I was at Workbench Con and we saw your product, we liked it from initially, but I got a chance to test it out when I don't know if you all remember Nick Burchell.
How can you forget?
From Burchell Designs. He gave me a saw stop handle that was 3D CNC'd out, but it's out of walnut. And I was like, I would really like to finish this before I go home, so in case I spill anything on it or whatever. So I took it over to the Bumblechutes table, and Eric was there, and we got wet with all the with all the oil, and it looked beautiful. I still have it. It's on my saw stop right now. It's wonderful. So I gotta say, on walnut, on the whole, I think it's phenomenal. That's
perfect.
That's my experience with it. So
I say the most. Okay, so going into the G-rated version. So you talked about your list of products that you had. Now, if you remember, we were obviously at the PW and CNC booth, and we had a bunch of awesome, cool carvings that we actually had a bunch of makers, help us finish. Well, your product was one of the products we used to finish, just to show it off and show off the carving and just. What was it that we used?
So, yeah, that was the woodworkers oil. So that's kind of like the bulk. It's meant more for like kitchenware, so it's a preventative maintenance type of product where you're going to have to reapply it as the wood dries out. So that was the woodworkers oil, because we wanted something that we could apply fast, that we could wipe away, but still hydrate and protect. I think we had the dragon and the horse carvings. Yep. So awesome stuff. And yeah, so that was kind of that was the product that we used.
Yeah, it was awesome. It definitely brought out the grain. I mean, like, it went from without being finished, it was great. But once you put that oil on there, everything popped and it just looked beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
And we definitely have some posts on Instagram if you guys are wondering exactly what we're talking about. But I mean, for the most part, that was our first intro to your product. And that's where we actually asked you to join us on the podcast, because we were very fascinated from, your start and essentially what you had there at Workbench Con. So you guys been going at it, you said, for 3 years, close to 3 years. Do you have anything up and coming, like a new product or anything that you'd like to share?
Yeah.
Yes, tell us your
Basically,
secrets.
yeah.
So let me tell you all the ratios and everything. No,
The ingredient list, please.
yeah. Well, that's the other thing is like the part of it was like, I just wanted transparency and a very transparent and clear objective with all of our products. So like, we'll still throw our ingredients on, because my whole thought was, if it's touching my food in a way that it's going on a cutting board, I want to know what's on it. It's a very popular thought as well. It's a safer way of, thinking about, clean eating and everything. And when I going into it, it's like, you could go, cause I get asked a lot, like, why do you list everything on your, your bottles or jars or whatever? And it really comes down to, it's just, I was brought up to be honest and say, what I'm doing and how I'm doing it, and I'm not going to give the exact ratios, but at least you know what's going in it. And you can do your own research if you want to look into like why we're doing certain things. But realistically, we've got a good product coming out. I'm hoping by August, that's the goal. I truly think we can hit it by July, but it's going to end up being like a hard wax oil. So it's going to be meant for, it's typically used in tables. I see more than anything. And that's kind of what we've been testing on specifically. And it's amazing. Buffs in really well. And we've been testing it since November, maybe October. So we're really happy with how everything's turning out. But it really comes into supply chain can be real finicky. So we just wanted to make sure we've got everything tuned up perfectly before we launch it. So it's that's something to expect here in the next couple months. So not sure what we're going to call it.
I'm sure there's a lot of people out there who would love to start using something similar to that. That being said, you just said supply chains can be an issue sometimes. Have you guys considered maybe raising your own beehives, or is that something maybe a long way in the future?
No, yeah, and it's funny. Like I thought about it, but of course I've got a neighbor who is allergic to bees, and so I was like, all right, I better tune it down with that. I wish I would tell him I'm allergic to his free range chickens, but that's another story. But we still got at least our ticks are down, which is helpful here in New Hampshire. But no, we've thought about it, but right now the supply chain for beeswax is great. It's more getting into some of the other oils, and that can be kind of a hindrance. So we just want to make sure that we're staying ahead of everything, having backups to the backups.
I can only imagine, especially with the supply and demand that you guys are having at the moment. So
not to be like off top, it's not really even off topic, not to be funny, not to keep you in the dark. Why I'm laughing, okay? So when and Nick knows why might even know why I'm laughing.
Well,
so
Blooms and Knolls is why.
Yeah, Blooms and Knolls. Yeah. When we taught this NCOA, Non-Commissioned Officer Academy curriculum, there was a spot in there where there'd be a negotiation chapter or section.
You can't be giving away these secrets, though.
I don't care. Like, no one listens to this. That's in the academy. Okay? If they listen to this, you know what? I'll give them $100 if they listen to this, other than yourself.
He's going to play at work. Hey, guys, listen to this.
No, don't you dare.
So, I mean, like, after you're done, Nap, I got something to say, so go ahead.
Okay. So, the premise behind it is bee honey and supply chain and a pharmaceutical company. So as you're talking about this and you're saying certain things, I'm like, oh my God, this literally sounds like one of the things we teach or would teach based off that particular scenario. So I'm not laughing at you. I'm just laughing internally off of something that was from the past here. Nick, what do you got?
So that being said, one time, so we played 2 truths and a lie at the very beginning of class to do an icebreaker. And one of my truths was I messed up. I was like, I'm on a podcast, right?
Oh yeah.
And so like it must have been like 2 weeks later. They do a morale thing in the morning when they come in where they, either play a stupid little game or whatever to just get their brains loose because they all don't want to be there anyway. And they're like, oh, hey, I had to go to a meeting. And they're like, oh, hey, real quick, we want you to listen to this song. And I'm like, what are you guys talking about? They're like, just give us 2 seconds before you go to this meeting. And the guy puts his phone up and he starts playing the song from Sawdust Nation podcast intro. I was like, put that away. I was like,
Weaponizing the podcast.
I was like, I don't know how you found me, but put that away. Anyway, so I don't
sorry.
like. Yeah, sorry. We hijack on that.
We go down rabbit holes randomly, so if we start talking about something random, we just go with the flow.
I mean, I'm the one that brought up trebuchets, and we're talking about wood finishes. So
I don't speak French.
Trebuchets
So
and
I
wood
don't know.
finish, they go together.
So I gotta ask, how does Bumblechutes compare to Bloaty's oil?
it's one of those things. Like you got to try it for yourself and see what you like more. But yeah, stay tuned to the hard wax oil because it's definitely gonna be top notch.
Yeah, I actually would love to. I just refinished the table. I would like to try some eventually when it gets out there. So throw some on there.
Yeah, I'm actually pretty excited because I just ran out of like all of my other oil finishes that I've had. Like, I tried, what was it? I know Totalboat had like their wood honey and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
That stuff's awesome. I've used a couple other different products, including Bloaties, and I don't really use them too much more anymore. But then there was a couple other makers that had like their little samples of stuff. So I love like the different oil finishes. I like to see what the differences are. I can tell you, do any of yours smell really good?
Are you asking? Because I'm saying that's like the number one compliment we get is that we have the best smelling finishes. And that was part of it. Was like, I mean, to be honest, I was sick of wearing a mask. And I think anybody's like pretty much guilty of you got to do a very quick, like, spray of poly to, just in between coats or whatever. And then it's like, you're not going to throw a mask on for that. And it's like, all right, now I'm feeling lightheaded because of it. And it's like, everybody's been there. It seems
it's all part of the experience, man.
Right. So I was thinking, what, I'm going to, every one of our finishes, we don't have any harmful fumes or chemicals. So it's like, what, it's that's one thing, but then also it's like, we tune it. So not only does it smell good, but it's meant to actually have a benefit. So there are no like filler products or filler ingredients in every product. So it's definitely something to look for. And I like smelling wise, that's easily our number one compliment.
Well, that's good. I started using it as a perfume. So just a little dab behind the ears when I'm going out.
I thought someone put some of that on their lips, actually. I thought it might be.
Oh, that was not Nap from Naps.
Oh, wow.
That was Morgan Hop.
Yeah.
That was Morgan Hop.
I ran out of chapstick, so I used our conditioner sample to, use it as a chapstick. I was like, well, it's safe, so have at it.
He said it worked.
He was like,
see that? But that's your next right there, a chapstick. You're going to have someone tried it.
Yeah. Yeah, it's true.
Yeah. And he didn't die, so you're good. FDA approved. FDA approved.
Human trials accepted.
So, all right, so you guys are on your website. Are you on Instagram as well?
Yeah, we're on Instagram. We also have Facebook. So those are it's like everything feeds through Instagram. Because I'd had Facebook when it was called The Facebook back in like the mid 2000s. And I was like, I try to keep that more, I don't know. It seems like Instagram's such an easier platform for businesses. But I'll tell you, Reels right now on Facebook tend to be popular as well. So it's, you just got to find whatever niche it is. But yeah, it's right now utilizing Instagram's the number one way, and Facebook, and then our website. And then we also have an affiliate program as well. So that's something that people help get the word out.
Maybe we should apply. Do you think maybe we should apply?
What do you have to lose?
I'll tell you what, we haven't, I don't think we've ever taken on a finishing type company as an affiliate. That would be pretty cool.
No, we have not yet.
Yeah, we've taken on
lasers,
laser beams. Hey, you need a laser by any chance?
Actually, I actually had a question about that. So I saw, like you have some pretty cool, media as far as like your marketing on your cans and whatnot, nice graphics and whatnot. Now, when you guys start to do like sample tins and those things, do you guys have any other customizations other than stickers? Because they have like good things like fiber lasers and stuff. Is that something you guys have thought of ever venturing into?
Initially, but it just tends to be so much easier with stickers and getting into, I mean, when we're having to make hundreds at a time, it almost makes it most sense just to be able to like have the machine put the, label on and just keep rocking and going that way. Cause initially I was thinking stuff like that when we were definitely lower quantities, but it's just the demand has been kind of pushing me away from that idea.
That's fair. I just figured it out.
I think it's cool. I definitely would like that.
Probably more cost effective too.
Yeah. So who does all your graphics?
Yeah, funny you say. So we ended up, we just did a swap right before Workbench Con, actually. So the timeliness, we had a good contract with the company, but then the timeliness just wasn't to our standard. And we ended up for Workbench Con, because of a delay, we had a tablecloth that was going to be, Bumblechutes related. It was going to stick out, pretty much, because we're yellow, black, and blue. So we stand out typically. And when I opened up the package, because I couldn't get it shipped to our shop, we had to have it shipped to the hotel, where the conference center was at. And I opened it up and it was some, private college's lacrosse banner and not my tablecloth. And I was like, oh, that's like the last straw. So, we end up, I've got a family friend, and she's been absolutely awesome here. She's kind of been filling in as time has been going on. So it was more of just like, all right, this is the full-time gig for her. So she does the designs and I'm still doing, all of the, Instagram promotions and everything there. So it's been, kind of a transition the last couple months.
So we're talking about transitions. Is this going to become a full-time gig for you at some point in time? Is that like in the future or?
I would love that specifically for like family purposes. So it's like, it's like the full-time job or one of the full-time jobs, I should say, where I actually work, less than Bumblechutes is, as an airline pilot. And so, that's fine and dandy, but, being away from home, definitely, that can be rough. And even though I'm Boston based, so I can go and do day trips, but it's still, being gone anywhere from like 8 to 14 hours at a time. It can wear on you. And, I would say like, as soon as we can hit a threshold that I'd be able to make that transition, it'd be nice, but we'll see. Definitely have the ambition to do so.
The ambition to transition.
That's it.
All right. I'm going to go ahead and place my order.
Nice. Yeah, that's talking about challenges. So we've been working with this new fulfillment center too. So we've been having a lot of tests go through. Speaking of Illinois, that's kind of where our current fulfillment center is.
Nice.
And they've got places all over the nation. They're international as well. So we're doing a test run right now, the last couple months out of near Chicago. And, March, they killed it. April, they're letting us down. So we're trying to, fine tune everything. And we've been very limited with the stock that we've been running through them.
Mm-hmm.
And, I think we're going to really turn it up here the next month or two, just because I think they've got it squared away, because they also moved from one facility to another. So that transition for them was rough, but I think they got everything ironed out. So you'll see. Yeah, so it should be pretty quick here, because it's always tough to, like, speaking of being, an airline guy, if I'm gone for a couple of days and we have an order, it makes a lot of sense if people are already starting to ship it without me having to touch it.
That takes automation, man. I wish I could automate some of the things in my shop. I mean, more so.
Yeah.
Like, hey, I took this order, Josh, build it.
Yeah.
Send
Good
it.
luck. You better be naming your laser, your CNC, Josh.
Pretty soon.
Yeah.
Pretty soon, I'm going to have Josh fulfilling orders in my shop.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I'm going to be using his shop and marking his tools when he's not around. This could be hilarious.
Oh, my God. Oh, no, you don't know how we mark tools. I'm sorry. That's our Patreons. Anybody want to tell him how we mark tools?
No. There's no we here. That's all you.
Oh, yeah. Well, no. Well, me and Jesse do it. Anyway, never mind. I'll tell you offline.
Together?
They mark each other's tools. Just put that.
Yeah.
They lock eyes and high five.
That's fine.
Hey, that's how we got out of that Chinese finger trap.
It was with no fingers either.
Yeah, don't crush your streams.
Oh my gosh. Anyway, so awesome.
Are you going to tell the poor guy?
What? How we mark
how do you mark a tool, Nick?
Oh, so yeah. So anyway, once we get a brand new tool, we just, and that means it's ours forever.
So
fair.
Moral of the story here is never buy a tool from these guys.
Yeah. So what was it? Was it a laser offer I had earlier? No thanks.
Those are new. Those are new from the store.
That's from the store. But if it comes through me, it's getting abrupt.
Yeah,
not
yeah.
playing.
Interesting story on that is that's the first time he ever set off a saw stop was marking his tool.
No,
I've seen those hot gun or the what is it, hot dog?
Yeah,
You know,
he
test.
went
Only left
he
a
went
nick.
and tried it. He just got a little nick on his neck.
Yeah.
yeah. So that it's true. I can't deny it.
Oh, sorry. I had to. I'm the one.
Grow up, man. We're like in our 30s now. Okay.
Never. Okay, so
says you.
Jason from our Patreon chat over here, he's asking, have you ever looked into selling on Amazon?
I have, and it's something that when we had the conditioner and serum, those were the first two products. We had them on Amazon for a little bit, but they ended up, making me go through different pesticide training and what else? There was something like skincare training and all this other stuff because it's like they have these more or less like filters that because it says serum and conditioner, they think that it's meant for your skin. So it was just like there was that. Plus, there was a lot of other like once you have fulfilled by Amazon, they were saying stuff at the time that they don't want anything that could melt between April and October. So basically half the year. And I'm thinking, well, first of all, we can't do that. Second of all, are your employees in conditions that hot? That's what I was thinking. But we're going to probably go back in there. That it's just not on the top of my list, but I would say that it's in the top 10 for sure.
Nice. Okay.
It makes a lot of sense. Everybody goes to Amazon, so why not?
No, I was wondering if you were in any brick and mortar stores at the moment.
Yeah, we're in 25, about to be close to 200, so real soon.
Good Lord.
Yeah, so
that's awesome.
Yeah, so we've got a couple deals in the works that behind the scenes. So probably in the next 3-4 months, we'll have everything ironed out.
Were you on Shark Tank? No,
yeah, man. I tell you what, I've applied 3 times, but they have a legal thing that if I can't say anything. So I haven't been, and but I've applied 3 times, so maybe 4th time's the charm. We'll see.
Oh, you gotta let us know if you do. We can watch it.
I'm gonna watch.
We know you're the watcher. Anyway, we're real mature in here.
Josh,
just,
yeah,
saying.
No, we're slap happy tonight, man. We're usually pretty down to business.
Yeah, says the biggest joker.
This is big Nick energy on his.
What? You never seen that?
I see it every time. I could change it too. I was gonna put little Nick energy on it one time, but we had a guest. Oh man. Okay, well, we talked about your past. We talked about your future. Is there anything else that you want to hit on since we have you here?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, like the biggest thing that I'm thinking here is the fact that like our wood finish and our stung oil, they've been such a popular, duo because like the last couple months, we really started getting into tongue oil, and that's what we've been using specifically for. So, like the stung oil, good play on words. Shout out to Ben from Condorosa Creations came up with. Why don't you just call it stung oil? So we ended up doing that, and so that's just pure polymerized tongue oil, and then we've got the wood finish, which is kind of like our version of a mixture of that same tongue oil. But then also we use the citrus solvent in it, and we also throw an organic gum rosin in it. So it's kind of like our mix. So instead of you having to buy a couple products to put together your concoction, you're able to do it with just like a single concoction from us. And it's been a huge hit. So definitely, because we ended up testing quite a few different ingredients. Like, some people like to use a boiled linseed oil, but that'll tend to yellow over time. So with the tongue oil, it's, it'll be a great waterproofer. It doesn't really turn colors over time, makes the wood look amazing. So really, really pleased with that ingredient. So those 2 products are something that's been stellar here recently.
How does that wood finish go on? Is it just you put it on, wipe it on, and then
it's really just like a wipe on. It's super simple, and the best thing you can do because it polymerizes more over time. So we have a process where it, like if you were to get raw tongue oil itself, it'll take like a solid month to dry and cure. And that's unacceptable by today's standards. for a lot of people. And so we have it polymerized, so we can get that into under a week. In most circumstances, when you put it in, real thin coats, that's the best way to do it. By doing that, it'll be like 2 to 4 days. Is like after your final coat, it'll be cured and ready to go. So it's, wipe on thin coats, let it sit for a solid, 15, 20 minutes, wipe off any excess, and then give it 24 hours. And then you can reapply depending on what you're doing. So if it's something that, say you're doing a picture frame, one coat's fine. You're doing flooring, maybe you want to do a lot more. So
yeah, high traffic versus low.
Yeah. Bingo. So no, that's great. And then the best part that I like about it is like we live in a world, in my opinion, that's like a lot of one-use products.
Mm-hmm.
So like with this, you're able to go and say you have flooring and you're going to have your tracks where people tend to, or your wear spots, whatever it may be. With the tongue oil, you can just wipe it back on, and you don't have to like sand it down or strip it or anything. So it's like it's a very easy, recoverage when the time comes.
Yeah, I definitely am going to have to try some of that. I mean, the majority of the stuff that at least I make currently is plaques, shadow boxes, stuff like that. And that sounds like a great finish for some of those items.
Yeah, absolutely.
So Jason had another question. Any of the big box stores going to cover you, or
we'll see. Yeah, we're relatively selective with where we go.
I see what you did there.
We use the best ingredients to make really good products, and the stores need to represent us. So we're not going to money grab and try to go to whoever comes after us type of deal. So we've been very selective with the offers that have come our way.
I mean, that makes sense. I definitely would keep the post office from selling your stuff then, because they suck.
Yes, they do.
Anyway, but sorry, they're not a retail store, but that's my second jab at the post office in this couple weeks.
Yeah, that's.
I take it they haven't been good to you, eh, Nick?
Oh my gosh, no.
We'll wait. We'll get to your segment in a minute, but I can tell
he's already
you.
huffing and puffing.
When they break your stuff, it's great because you need to prove that they broke it. It's amazing.
I found a way around that.
Or what?
Please tell, because it's.
You just don't send it to them.
I mean, that's a great alternative.
That's perfect. Yeah. Brilliant.
And deliver everything. No, for my products, I found that if I go to UPS or FedEx or basically any place that package, if they package your goods and then you send it, if it breaks during delivery, they insure it 100%, regardless.
That's awesome.
Because like I was doing a lot of my packaging and stuff. I had a few things break in the mail. I had to deal with everything because you go through UPS after something breaks and you package it. They like it's one-off items. Good luck. Even with insurance. Yeah. And then my dad, we were talking and he's like, why don't you just have them package it? Then it's insured because they're liable for the packaging. So if it breaks, it's on them. And since then, I haven't had any issues. It's almost like if they know they're liable, you're not going to get anything broken. Knock on wood. I had some delivered today. Haven't heard anything about it, but so far so good. So it might be a possibility.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. Yeah, especially like realistically, we're going from like it's crazy to think. Just the summer of 2020 when we were selling, and it was like I'll still remember that first sale where it was not a friend or a family member, and it's always like holy crap, it's really like somebody actually bought this and I don't know them. And then it went from like one order a week to a couple orders a week, and now it's we're starting to get into palletizing everything, and it's crazy the difference as things move on. But I mean, definitely something where dealing with UPS and the post office, there definitely it's a big machine, and headaches come from that.
Absolutely,
to say the least.
So one last question, and then we'll probably move on to what's in our shops and some topics. But so when you walk in the shop now, what kind of mass quantities are you making? Like it has to be a lot more than the normal person making the little tins. What kind of setup do you have?
Yeah, I mean, I can't show a lot of the stuff that's behind the camera right now, but I'm in our shop. But like it's cool because we've been able to I haven't taken a real paycheck from this place. Everything gets put back into the company, so we have machines that can it. That we have a labeler that basically you put everything in. automatically labels everything for us. So it's, I should say semi-automatically, because you still have to use a foot pedal for it. But, when you can have the repetition, you can really knock them out, because hand labeling is, it's such a time waster and it can take a lot of time. But I mean, we'll go just here relatively recently. I'll give them a shout out because they've been awesome with us. The Montana Knife Company, they came to me and asked about formulating a blade wax for them. So we ended up going and, we make a few, 1,000 at a time for them, and we can knock that out within, a couple days. So it's great. And they've been an awesome, a couple thousand. And we've done, so it's, it's definitely, it takes over quite a bit of space, but it's still something that, we can do that. And we have the setup now that I have automatic filling machines. So you set how long the pump's going to be on, how long it's going to be off. So you can say 2 seconds on, half a second off. And the way that I do it is that I manually, put the nozzle over whatever container and automatically fills up. And it's 99 point something percent, accurate in terms of repetition. So it's a pretty good little machine. It wasn't super cheap, but it was good intermediate until we get to the next step.
Okay, so last question. You said that you've been woodworking since childhood.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
You really said last question.
I know.
Last question.
This is the very last question. Additionally, furthermore, woodworking since childhood, do you ever get time to go ahead and get in the shop and do anything like that anymore?
Not anymore. And I've been working, to put in perspective here, I've been working on a single project since this time last year. And it's just, I don't have the time anymore because it's kind of been a hobby, but I need to make it more of a priority because I'm making this really cool table that we're going to be auctioning off, and all the proceeds are going to go to one of my former soldiers who ended up passing away. And it's going to be going to his family. I'll definitely, when the time comes, I'll definitely be talking a lot more about it. But, the family definitely has gone through a ton, and I feel like it's going to be such an awesome raffle for this table. And I want to make sure it's perfect. So I don't want to rush it either. And I haven't been able to get into the shop really as much as I would like to. But that being said, my brother-in-law hooked me up with some new tools. So
nice.
Definitely would like to get in, to the shop sooner than later.
And I know some good finishes you could finish that table with.
That's part of the plan.
Okay. Well, with that, we'll give you a break and we'll toss it over to Nap. Are you ready? He's ready. Look at that face.
I guess I'll go. All right. Well, so this entire time while I've been listening, actively listening and playing with plexiglass, I'm actually about to chuck this across the room. It's actually it's pissing me off quite a bit, actually. The acrylic is not, the 3M in the acrylic is not acting right, and it's honestly irritating the hell out of me. Don't give me that face. It's some of the pieces, like when you stick it to the acrylic, it's not fully like sticking. I don't.
What did you do?
Nothing. It's temperamental. But anyways, and then I even used this like little template thing to line the stripes up, and it left these little light white freaking lines of residue. And I'm over here with a freaking popsicle stick over here, scrubbing it away. Yeah, it's not going so great. I thought I was saving time by doing this now, but in fact, I'm probably going to cause more work for myself. It's great. But anyways, so a lot going on in the shop, especially these last minute things, which is currently why I'm working on this while I'm doing the podcast. And after I even go, I'm going to run outside to my shop and throw something on the laser because it's going to take like an hour for it to finish. And then I have to sand it, round over, all the fun stuffs. But I have a going away thing. So there's actually 2 retirement gifts. One retirement is by choice. The other one is not. And I'll tell you guys offline. And so I'm going to give him, we're going to give him something just because, you still spend, I think it was like 22 years, I think, or 20. It was like 20, it was 20, but 20 or more. And just made some bad choices and is now on his way out. And then the other folk is the first sergeant, which is what I'm making this for. As you can see, the pieces that are not on there because they weren't sticking all the way, and that's what's pissing me off. So I'm going to fix that. Hopefully when Nick or Josh is going. But anyways, so I'm working on those two things today. This weekend, I think I set a record for shadow box build. I started, so the panel, I kind of cheated. My panel was already made because I knew I was going to take 2 days to make it on the weekend and then send it on its way. It wasn't a typical like square shadow box or rectangular shadow box. It was the Hap Arnold symbol that I talked about. It was that June box that turned into an April 28th box. Supposedly 3-day select shipping means if you ship it at 6 o'clock in the evening last night, they'll get it tomorrow. So because it says it'll be there tomorrow by 7. I don't believe that until I see it. And then it shows up in one piece. They're probably currently kicking it off the back of a truck. I really hope not, but I packaged the hell out of the thing. So we'll see what happens. I even put some styrofoam under the overhang facade because the facade, the way it sat, it had about maybe 6-7 inches of overhang where if someone were to, let's just say, flex it hard enough or step on it or do something dumb, they'd break it. So I made sure that there was a lot of support in there. And if they break it, there's $500 of insurance on it. However, like Josh said, good luck proving it. But I don't think they'll break it because anytime in my experience that
famous last words.
No, so anytime I've actually had insurance on projects, typically the insurance, if it's a hefty amount, they tend to take better care. Kind of like Josh was saying, when they package it, they're fully like they're required to insure if they packed it. Typically, if it's insured, I haven't had an issue. But when I haven't insured something, it got broken. So I just insure everything now. That's over a certain dollar amount. So that shadow box went out. Hopefully it gets there tomorrow safely. Yes, I finished that trophy. It is now at work. It was 3 tiers of goodness. The plates were not awesome. I actually shed some tears while putting those on because those screws are extremely tiny. They're the size of pins. So it's great. Oh, and they're not Phillips head, they're flatheads. So you know how awesome that is.
It's yeah.
I don't like those at all. So I did that. I have that 16 plaque order for the quarterly awards, but I'm not doing 12 of them yet. So I have the blanks. I got the blank sitting up on the shelf over here. And by the way, I bought a 3-foot by 5-foot shelf by like 16 inches deep. Because I got tired of just crap being all over my office, even though there's like a bunch of epoxy stuff over there and then like random stuff over there. But it's also because I just made another mess after I cleaned my office.
I got this nice shelf to be organized. Don't mind what's behind me. It's a nice shelf to be organized.
Well, yeah, look at this thing.
Yeah, looks pretty organized, bro.
It is. For me, I mean, you have room to talk.
Hey, look at my shelf behind there. It's organized.
That's the only thing organized.
Yeah, I know, right?
Priorities.
No, it's because this morning or yesterday I came home in a hurry at 3 to package up that shadow box. I literally got it out in the nick of time. And yeah, so I was actually kind of surprised. But then, so I was working on these things, did that. I have a 28 by 28 shadow box I got to make. That's kind of an odd size. They said 28 by 28 inner dimension. I was like, that's pretty large.
Yeah.
That's going to take a special piece of plexiglass, which is kind of annoying because most plexiglass sheets come in 24 inches by however long. So I'm hoping that my bottom line is not affected too much based on that. Then I have another Master Shadow box that's 2 of them, in fact. I had a friend reach out to me. And of course, they're your friends when they don't ask for handouts. They say, hey, how much is it? You tell them and they go, okay, cool.
Friends are extra.
It's pretty nice. Yeah. Well, so the funny thing about that is when people that I know and I've known for a while reach out to me and they say they're going to pay full price, typically I do cut them some slack. So I'll probably, give them like the 10% or 15% off whatever the cost is of that box. But the ones that, and for those of you listening out there, that if you ever order from me and you are my friend, and I mean, like, I've known you for a while. Sorry.
I mean, she at Workbench Con, though.
Get these trick. Yeah, right?
It's dangerous what you're saying.
But yeah, so typically I do that for those folks. Let's see what else I got going on. It just seems like it's all blurring together. I got Ben's flutes, wedding flutes job. I'm going to start and probably finish this weekend. Maybe more like middle of the week next week. I'm still trying to figure out if I'm going to do miters and spline joints or if I'm going to do finger joints. Deciding if I really want to break out the dado stack. I hate that damn thing. It's just a bunch of carbide spinning. Okay, I just don't
use
like
the router.
It's not my favorite thing.
Router table.
Yeah, but even the router is freaking touchy. Have you ever messed up and thrown a piece of wood through a garage door? I have. But yeah, so that's
it went through the door.
It actually stuck into the foam of the garage. Yes. That would scare the hell out of me. I ain't gonna lie. But other than that, I mean, that's really all that's going on in the shop. It's getting nicer here in North Dakota. So when you said North Dakota, I was like, hey, yeah, I'm up here now. It stopped snowing. The northern lights were visible 2 days ago, and actually even last night too. But 2 days ago, it was the strongest, and they were pretty cool. I've never seen them before, so that was pretty awesome. Yeah. That's really all I got going on. Other news offline, but it's too early to say. Well, not too early, but I got to wait for we'll say the window of safety is what we'll call it before I officially announce things. But yeah, a lot going on. It's craziness. And my rotary machine should hopefully be here mid-May. So, hey, you remember the Odyssey Cyclone rotary CNC? Eric, the one they had over by the Phantom?
Yes, I do.
I have one of them bad boys coming here in May.
Nice.
I'm very excited. And then once I get it, I'm going to get your Bumblechutes oil. And while it's rotating, I'm just going to rub stuff on it.
What do we got to do?
But hey, what's up? But that's what I got going on in my shop. A lot of things happening. But yeah, Josh, what you got going on, man? While I go run into the garage.
Real quick, I overbooked. I'm busy. I am basically doing everything I can to stay at a pace that's going to get me through the last of my orders. And that includes, I'm doing 2 shadow boxes simultaneously. Right now, they're basically the same everything. So it makes it a little bit easier just having to do 2 at one time. Just got done with 3 different flags. Have a group of 85 4-inch plaques for the next promotion cycle due. I have someone coming over tomorrow for another shadow box, but it's going to be a square one so that I can get that done fairly fast. I have a couple signs I got to make for a local business and a business in Canada. And then just a lot. I have some acrylic plaques I need to go ahead and design and create. An ore plaque, new first one for that. That should be fun. Or paddle, I guess, or paddle, same thing. But yeah, I got some interesting projects I can't wait to get to. But right now it is basically full month. I'm going full throttle in the shop. I did take a day to go mess with the new lathe I got from Wind Designs Victor. We met up in Elizabeth, New Jersey, and he sold me his lathe, and I got to I cleaned it up a little bit. I turned on it. I did a handle. I did a little knob for the lathe itself, and then I did a bat. The bat is here somewhere. Just kind of messing around, see what I could do, and I turned a pen and some other things before, but never on my own. And, it wasn't too bad. Learned some things the first time I tried it. Had to do a little research to get a little further. And once I did that, it was off running. So I cleaned it up a little bit. It's sitting out there in the shop, staring at me. You know how a new tool in the shop is. You just want to go play with it. So, I have to get these projects done. And if I get some downtime, I will be setting up it, because I set it up outside right now. I don't really have a place for it in the shop, like dedicated. So I usually bring it outside. It helps with the sawdust cut down in the shop, and have some fun out there. Yeah, I got some new tools in the shop. I can't wait to use them or utilize them for something, a project. I have some ideas and plans for things I can sell on Etsy and stuff like that. Add capability in the shop. One of the biggest things is I like to have a client come up to me and go, hey, can you do this? I like saying yes. I don't like saying no. And having the capability of a lathe in there is nice just for myself as well. Because handles, you can always make a handle for something, mallets, stuff like that. So I'm pretty stoked, and also very busy. But with that, that's about all I got going on. Busy and adding capability. So let's pass it over to, I don't know, Nap. Want to go again? Nick, what's up, man?
I got you there. So as far as saying yes, I like to say yes as well. But if I get the no as an answer from someone, I don't remember where I heard this. It was probably from a movie, but I like to pull out especially at work for my Air Force job, I like to say, why say no when it feels so good to say yes? And people usually like kind of loosen up at that point. But anyway, except Josh, he always tells me no. I'm trying to cuddle. But anyway, my shop's
opportunities
been busy.
are coming.
I had 2 days off, Saturday or was it Friday and Saturday? Because the power went out. It was kind of crappy and put me behind schedule. So you have a power outage in your primary shop, and next thing you know, you just can't do anything. All those lasers and CNCs and lions and tigers and bears run off of electricity. So I was kind of stuck doing nothing. But I did have an opportunity. I took the kids to the Lego store, and they had a good time. And, just kind of made the most of, made some lemonade out of those lemons that I got. But other than that, I have finished a few signs. I finished a couple plaques. I'm actually almost done with a lot of the stuff that needs to be shipped out for the beginning of May, which would be like the beginning of May, I mean like 6 May. So everything comes in waves. I'm sure when it rains, it pours, and then when it stops, it's a drought, right? I have no drought anytime near in the future. I have projects lined up for the next 3 months now. It's crazy. But a lot of units are getting on board with the acrylic and the quarterly awards and all that stuff. So they keep coming to me asking for price quotes and all this stuff. So, I mean, things are looking good. And for when I do retire next year, I will have continuity with these folks, because I'm not going to just assume they're going to like what I make for them. But so far, I've had a lot of good feedback from everybody who I've made stuff for. My problem is I can't get it out fast enough. So I wish I could split myself in two, and you know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah.
Or I don't know. I need a sidekick like Robin to Batman, But other than that, though, the shop's working fine. It's a filthy freaking mess. I'm taking steps gradually to clean it up as I make my way across. But other than that, life's good. Just pumping out some stuff. You see it on Instagram when I put it up there. I have other things that I need to put up still as well. I'm trying to do one a day so I don't just blow my wad all on one freaking day on Instagram, because gotta spread it out, spread the wealth. I don't know if I'm allowed to say that. Are we allowed to say that? Trying to spread out my posts so it doesn't look like I just threw everything all up at once. Anyway, that's all I got in my shop. Do we have any questions from the gallery, or what's going on?
Jason did ask Eric, are you ever going to, or do you plan on providing a sample pack for your products? So something someone could buy that kind of sample a little bit of everything. That way they can see what they like.
Yeah, we have something called Give Us a Try Combo. And it basically is as simple as the 1 ounce of our conditioner and 2 ounces of our serum. And that's been a huge hit because it's something that's economical, and it's, with shipping right around $10, and you can really treat your board. Specifically it was meant for, cutting boards initially. And with this fulfillment center, we're working out the logistics with them and how they can manage without us having to package each thing individually and send it to them. We're trying to figure out the logistics with that. So someone can say, I'm going to order a Give Us a Try combo, and then they know to pick, one little serum, one little conditioner, and go from there.
Like a pack.
We've looked into it. Yeah. And, it's something that we had one of the local lumberyards that carries our products ask us for, because our woodworkers oil originally, because that's like our bulk version of the serum, we ended up having it in the 32 ounce and the gallon size, because typically people are going to need a lot of it.
Yeah.
But they said, if you can come up with like a right around, 10 to $12, maybe 8 ounces, that's going to sell really well too. So that's another product that we just launched within the last year as well. So that's about 8 ounces. And that's something that, people tend to go for that. And then once you become comfortable with, our values as a company and basically where our level is in terms of purity, you're able to see like, all right, you've tried it, and then you're more confident buying the larger, quantities.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. Personally, I like sample packs and stuff like that with different products because, like, hard for me to justify buying large bottle of whatever finish or a can that I've never tried or utilized. Because I mean, like, you don't want to spend whatever it costs on that and then realize that's just not for you. But I mean, like, I know some of your finish because we talked and I got to see it in use, so I'm definitely comfortable buying those quantities from you.
No, that's awesome. And that's part of the issue too. It's like, the stuff can get expensive,
Yeah,
the finishing,
quickly.
it's like, it's crazy how expensive some stuff can get. And that's where we're really careful with how we price everything. But it's like, we don't want to just give stuff away for free either. But like, it's amazing how important it is to us that we're providing something that, like, guys like you or girls that are also makers, anybody that's, in the community, that you put all this time into a project, and then to, like, basically we're the last step. And it means a lot to me that there's a lot of trust going into it, so whether it is just the sample size or even, a gallon or more of any of our product, it's very humbling, what we started here originally, like in my kitchen, to now, we have a shop and everything. So it's cool how it's definitely grown, and very humbling every day.
Well, you must be doing something right because from what I see, you guys are doing fairly well. Your product widely liked. And then, like, the reactions I saw at Workbench Con alone were just insight on your company and what you guys are doing.
Thank you. Definitely a lot of work goes into it, say the least.
I can only imagine. What you're doing is a little bit different from what we've dipped into before. I don't think I must speak for Nap and Nick here that we've ever tried to produce our own finish. And at the scale that you're doing it, I mean, just some of the equipment that you utilize and, like, the process is fascinating. I mean, you got to be like almost like a mini chemist at some point in time, trying to find the best ratios that are going to maximize your performance and, I mean, like, your sales. So, yeah, I give you guys credit.
Thank you. Yeah, I mean, really, and that's, circling back to our hard wax oil that we've been developing. It's just, we want to make sure, everything's been cured for months, but we want to make sure that once it gets, we're not just going to be, our service isn't done at the checkout counter. Like, we want to make sure that you're happy with this months and years down the road. So we just want to make sure, as we launch new products, the research and testing has been done. So it's, we're doing a lot of stuff on the back end to make sure that you're confident with our stuff moving forward.
Yeah, absolutely. That's a smart way to go about it. But I think with that, we're going to wrap up this episode, Eric. We're going to go ahead and dive into final words. Do you have anything to say to the audience?
Yeah, I'd say, the best thing you can do is, because I'm sure a lot of your listeners are makers, stay safe. It's crazy how quickly things can happen. And, it's game changers. Something is just a misthought. So when it's ear protection, eye protection, I can't stress that enough. Obviously that's, more of my safety background, but, be safe when you're making stuff in general, but, fun promotion side of stuff is we've got Bumblechutes Canada. So that's going to be, we started rolling stuff out over this summer or this past winter. So we've got a really good fulfillment going on up there. So any to our neighbors to the north, you're going to be able to get some Bumblechutes without having to pay all the extra fees that comes with, just buying from us directly. So, it's a lot of little things, add up to big steps here. So that's kind of what I've got for tonight.
And again, if you want to get a hold of Eric on Instagram, you can reach him at Bumblechutes. And if you want to go ahead and check his website out, it's www.bumblechutes.com. Make sure you like and follow.
Hey, folks, to keep it short and sweet, keep taking care of each other, keep reaching out, keep asking those questions. I know I had a couple of folks reach out to me quite a bit just with some laser questions, CNC questions, and whatnot. We only make this community stronger the more we help each other out. So until next time, Nick.
That's right. And like always, take care of yourselves and each other. If you're looking to have a strong finish, go ahead and try your Bumblechutes. Other than that, Josh.
Thank you for listening to episode 148. Try some new finishes. Check out Bumblechutes. And then with that, go into the shop. Go make some sawdust, and Sawdust Nation Podcast out.
You know, can fix all that, right? Bumblechutes.
Yeah.
Just